The first night of Nikah, Sunnah, etiquette, and Islamic guidance. Assalamu alaikum, sir, brothers and sisters. The first night after the Nikah, Islamic marriage contract, is often filled with both excitement and nervous anticipation. It's a sacred and special moment in a Muslim couple's life, and it's important that we, as Muslims, understand the proper way to approach it in accordance with the Sunnah. Once the nikah is performed, the couple is now Islamically recognized as husband and wife. For many, this marks the first time they are permitted to be alone in privacy. It is during this moment that the couple begins their journey together, and Islam offers beautiful guidance on how to start this chapter with blessing and barakah. One of the very first actions recommended when the couple meets privately for the first time is to perform 2 units of voluntary prayer, salah, together. The husband should lead his wife in prayer, standing side by side in worship, symbolizing the foundation of their marriage on faith and obedience to Allah. If it is nighttime, he may recite the Quran aloud, or he may choose to recite it quietly depending on the situation. This simple yet profound act invites divine tranquility and blessings into their union. This practice is supported by a narration from Ibn Abi Shayba in his Musannaf. When a man marries a woman, he should take her by the forelock, pray 2 units of prayer, and ask Allah for good in his spouse and seek refuge from any harm. Musannaf Ibn Abi Shayba 3401. Scholars such as Ibn Taymiyyah and Imam al-Nawawi have also mentioned the virtue of this act in their writings. This salah is not obligatory, but highly recommended as a sunnah to bring peace, gratitude, and blessings into the new marital life. If the sister can't pray because of her period or any other legitimate reason for not being able to pray, then she can't pray, so she can do dhikr and dua instead. Thereafter, one of the next sunnahs to do is that the man should place his hand on the forehead or on the farluk, which is the front part of the hair, of his bride, and he should read the following dua. The dua is very beautiful. O Allah, I ask of you for the good in her, and I seek refuge in you from the evil in her. The second sunnah you would say. The third thing would be to have some sort of drink, because the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, offered the man to offer his wife some sort of a drink, or some sort of sweet dish, or something like a dessert. The Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, on the night of their meeting together for the first time as a married couple, saw that she was decorated. She had done her adornment and beautified herself. Then she invited the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, to come into the room to see her, to sort of unveil her, and to meet his wife in privacy for the first time. At that moment, the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, brought with him a cup of milk, and he offered that milk to her. She initially refused. She was shy, and then eventually she accepted. So, salah, offering a drink. If everything goes according to plan, or if everything proceeds and you're both comfortable and you're both happy, and if there is intimacy, if there is intercourse, then there is also another dua before that. This particular dua is for every time intimacy takes place between the 2 spouses. That dua is, O Allah, keep shaitan away from us and keep shaitan away from what you provide us through this marriage, i.e., our children. And the hadith says that if someone recites this dua, then shaitan will not be able to harm the children. So that's the 4th point, to read that dua if there is to be intimacy. Now, a lot of people assume that on the first night there has to be some sort of intimacy or intercourse, but this is not necessarily a rule. This is not particular. You can't say it's fard or sunnah or anything like that. It's completely up to mutual agreement or mutual comfort. How do you achieve that comfort and get to know one another? One of the things you do is, of course, the first thing, communication. You talk. So it takes time. Sometimes you may proceed, sometimes you may not. But the main thing is that you should not intentionally delay it. You should not try to play hard to get. You shouldn't be like, oh yeah, I got married. I don't care about my wife, so I'm not going to initiate. That's just stupid. That's just going to lead to some sort of, because it can have adverse effects as well. Someone might think, well, the guy doesn't like me. What have I done wrong? And that can have a long-term psychological impact as well, which you want to avoid by all means. So it's really important to be comfortable, Talking, maybe sharing a meal, all of that stuff are things that will allow you to become more relaxed. And then eventually you can proceed with the intimacy or whatever Allah has permitted for you or written for you. Because there are certain guidelines on intimacy as in intercourse. Not everything is halal. In terms of guidelines, there aren't many, to be honest, because it's all about mutual experience and mutual agreement. There aren't many restrictions in that regard, but there are, for example, certain very strict restrictions. One of them is that you cannot have intercourse with your spouse if she is in her menstrual cycle or if she's in her postnatal bleeding. It is completely forbidden. It is in the Quran that you should only approach your spouses for intercourse in their times of purity, which is beyond the menstrual cycle and also beyond the nifas. So Haid is the menstrual cycle, the monthly cycle, and nifas is the postnatal bleeding. She is still your spouse. You are completely okay to express love and affection in any other way. You can hug, you can kiss, you can lie down next to one another, anything apart from basically intercourse. Number two, it is completely forbidden also to approach and have intercourse through the anus. This is completely haram in our religion, and there are very, very strict rulings. Whosoever does this has basically not followed and has strayed from the way of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing upon him. Coming now to after that night or after that moment, sometimes some people go on to share their experiences. This is completely haram. You can't share your private experiences with anybody, even if they're your best friends. And I know, especially sisters, they have this thing about discussion with their besties and best friends, and they have to know, tell me everything. I'm not going to tell you everything. There's no need for you to know everything. Intimacy should be left between the two spouses. To actually expose that is a big, big sin. The Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, strictly forbade it.